unanimously. Thank you. Councillors, we've been all over the page today, and so we are now moving to item 14. All right, item 14, and I will hopefully see Nick. Here he is. Yep, Nick and Marina. No, Nick by himself.
Tēnā tātou te whānau. Hey, it's been a long day, so I'll try and keep this brief. I'll take the paper as read, but I did want to just point out a few things. The first one is that the funding asked for is within the LTP envelope and also does not represent an increase. In fact, there hasn't been an increase to the Haukura's budget now since 2023. And from what I've seen over the last 5 years, they've also been able to remain favourable during that time, so contributing to some savings. So that's a really good news story. You all notice some sort of shifts around in some of the funding that's been allocated. One is there around the remuneration. So an independent audit was undertaken, and there's a slight increase in the remuneration. But again, they've been able to balance that without throughout their budget. And the final point I would like to make is that the SLA, the Service Level Agreement, takes into regard the draft work plan, some of the shifts that we have made to the Auckland Council Group, and as well as He Whenua Makoto, which of course is the issues of significance, and that there is the statutory document that that leads all of the work that Haukura undertakes. So they're responding to that, and I will leave it at that.
Thank you very much. I'll open first to questions. Councillor Williamson.
Yeah, look, it could easily be here somewhere and I'm just missing it. Under salaries, you've got 1.479 and under expenses 75,000. Do you publish, like you do for all councillors, what the base salary for a member of Haukura is and what you get if you're a deputy chair and what you get if you're a chair, like we do for all of our salaries?
So yeah, I'm just being new to this role. I'm not 100% sure of the actual how that happens. But what I would say is that I do understand that they are roughly 70% of what a councillor is paid, and that there is.
Yeah, but I haven't. I've looked it up and I can't see where it is.
We'll provide that information back to you.
Okay. I just think it's the transparency. Everybody knows what a chair of a cow gets and what a chair of a whatever the committee gets or a deputy chair gets for us. And I just think it should be something we know for every member of IMSB, what their level is and what they'd get if they're the chair or the deputy chair and so
on. Nick, could you just come back to us, maybe just on an email when you got that information? Thank
Absolutely.
you. Councillor Darby, a question from you.
Kia ora, Nick. Thank you. A question I raised, actually, first of all, just in terms of the other support the council offers, which is not quantified here in terms of dollar terms, is work done through group shared services. Does it also include the property leasing costs, or is that within the budget?
Yes, the property leasing costs are in the budget. So I do understand that lease is up for renewal next year, and through the course of this year we'll be having discussions with the Secretariat around how that has progressed.
Okay, now, I remember asking this question last year, and I was told, and I don't think it was you, Nick, that was responding. You weren't in that position then. I was told that the property lease was expiring this year. Now, my understanding is it's pretty high-end office space. And I say this as a strong supporter of the importance of Haukura, but I also asked this question, asked it then and ask it again now, about the property that they are occupying and when they might vacate that to premises that are maybe more budget friendly.
Sure.
So you're saying that the lease now on that property expires this year or next year?
So I asked a specific question because I knew that it might come up, and I recollect there's been an issue of importance to people. So as I understand it, the lease expires 30th of June 2026. So at the end of this financial year, that's when it will expire.
Okay. And is there an expectation that council's property people will be supporting Hokura to identify appropriate property at an appropriate rental point for new premises leading into the expiry of that lease?
Yeah, just recognising, of course, the independent nature of that statutory board and they do make those decisions. But yeah, we will work with them over the course of this year to negotiate on that particular point around the lease.
Okay, thank you, Nick.
Thank you, councillor. Good question, good answer. Councillor Leone, did you have a question?
Yeah, my question was, I know you just made the comment that their remuneration is actually a lot lower than us, but obviously the expectation is that they're doing 40 hours a week in their role. I mean, have they not fed back anything about the discrepancy on that?
Not through this process of approving this, no, but it did go through an independent auditor that came up with that figure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Williamson.
I guess mine's a supplementary to what Councillor Darby was saying. You say because they're really incredibly expensive buildings down in that part of the viaduct, they really are. And I am also told that we've got quite a lot of space that council still has ownership of that is office space we could use. So I'm really keen to follow through on the ability for them to make that decision. Your answer was, well, they're independent. But if they're independent, then they're asking us for funding, and you're saying that we may not be able to control whether we have a say over the level of digs that they're able to have.
So the first part of my question was that the lease expires in
Yes.
2026,
Yeah.
and that we will
June 26.
go as part of this process, enter into discussions with them about that. And just noting, of course, that they are an independent statutory board. That doesn't necessarily mean that it makes up the entirety of our decision-making process, but just taking that into regard.
That's what I'm trying to dig into. We're approving them a budget here, but they could easily find really, really economically valued bit of office space, or they could go for the very high end of town, or even renew the one they've got on the 30th of June 26. We don't have any ability to stop that. You said, they'll be involved in talks, but I don't live with people in talks, because that goes on all the time, and then a decision gets made that we had no say in. I'm just concerned that when ratepayers say to us, why are these people based in one of the most expensive pieces of property in town, and you're funding them, I want to know, have we had any ability to say, hey, you need to be finding something comparable to what we've got at 135 or equivalent?
Kia ora through the chair. Councillor Williamson, we've had these conversations before. So I am not actually sure of the decision making like you're asking, whether that is fully or partly our decision or fully or partly the Hokura. I am very happy to get that information to give it to you.
Please do.
Given we have a year, or well, less
Sure,
than that,
sure.
Going into that next
I guess, Megan, the only
negotiation.
thing
So
I'll
I know
make
what
sure
you're
is
saying.
that they don't go ahead early and say, let's just renew it out to 2030 or something, and then we get told, sorry, it's already done.
Yeah, get it. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've cleared that one up. No further questions. I'll ask you then to step back. Thank you very much. And I'll open for comments. Any comments? It's been moved and seconded. Is that a hand up? No, it's a scratch of the head. Oh. Right? Okay. I'll then take it to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Right. Item 15.